got the blues. I've got the alcoholic blues. No more beer, my heart to cheer. Goodbye, whiskey. You used to make me frisky. So long, highball. So long, gin. Oh, tell me when you're coming back again. Blues, I've got the blues since the amputated my blues. Lordy, Lordy, war is swell. You know, I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues. Prohibition, that's the name. Prohibition drives me insane. I'm so thirsty, soon I'll die. I simply grind, evaporate, I just that dry. I wouldn't mind to live forever in a drink. If my thirst had only let me quench, and not with Bevo or ginger ale. I want real stuff by the pail.
Welcome to Speak Uneazy, a safe space where cancel culture does not exist because we are in a different prohibition era.
Good evening and welcome to the Speak Uneazy with your host, the bartender. Tonight's random read is going to come off of the book of Nehemiah, chapter 9, verses 1 through verses 38. This is going to be a lengthy one. I may kill some of the words here, but please bear with me. Praise to God and confession of sins. Now in the 24th day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting, and with sackcloths and earth upon them. And the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers, and stood and confessed their sins, and the iniquities of their fathers. And they stood up in their place, and read in the book of the law of the Lord their God 1/4 part of the day. And another 4th part they confessed, and worshipped the Lord their God. Then stood up upon the stairs of the Levites, Jeshua, and Bani, Kadmiel, Shebaniah, Buni, Sherebiah, Bani, and Chenani, and cried with a loud voice unto the Lord their God. Then the Levites, Jeshua, and Kadmiel, Bani, Hashabaniah, Sherebiah, Hodijah, Shebaniah, and Pethahiah said, Stand up and bless the Lord your God forever and ever, and blessed be thy glorious name, which is exalted above all blessing and praise. Thou, even though art Lord alone, thou hast made heaven, the heaven of heavens, with all their host, the earth and all things that are therein, the seas, and all that is therein, and thou preservest them all. And the host of heaven worshippeth thee. Thou art the Lord, the God, who didst choose Abram, and broughtest him forth out of Ur of the Chaldees, and gavest him the name Abraham, and foundest his heart faithful before thee, and madest a covenant with him to give the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, and the Girgashites, to give it, I say, to his seed, and has performed thy words, for thou art righteous. And didst see the affliction of our father in Egypt, and heardest their cry by the Red Sea, and shewedst signs of wonders upon Pharaoh, and on all his servants, and on all the people of his land. For thou knewest that they dealt proudly against them. So didst thou get thee a name, as it is this day. And thou didst divide the sea before them, so that they went through the midst of the sea on the dry land. And their persecutors thou threwest into the deeps, as a stone into the mighty waters. Moreover, thou leadest them in the day by a cloudy pillar, and in the night by a pillar of fire, to give them light in the way wherein they should go. Thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai, and spakest, with them from heaven, and gavest them right judgments and true laws, good statutes and commandments, and madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant, and gavest them bread from heaven for their hunger, and brought forth water for them out of the rock for their thirst, and promised them that they should go into possesses the land which thou hast sworn to give them. But they and our fathers dealt proudly, and hardened their necks, and hearkened not to thy commandments, and refused to obey, neither were mindful of thy wonders that thou didst among them, but hardened their necks, and in their rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage. But thou art God, ready to pardon, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and forsook them not. Yea, when they had made them a molten calf, and said, This is thy God that brought thee up out of Egypt, and had wrought great provocations, yet thou in thy manifold mercies forsookest them not in the wilderness. The pillar of the cloud departed not from them by day, to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night, to shew them light, and the way wherein they should go. Thou gavest also thy good spirit to instruct them, and withheldest not thy manna for their mouth, and gavest them water for their thirst. Yea, 40 years didst thou sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lacked nothing. Their clothes waxed not old, and their feet swelled not. Moreover, thou gavest them kingdoms and nations, and didst divide them into corners. So they possessed the land of Sihon, and the land of the king of Heshbon, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. Their children also multipliedst thou as the stars of heaven, and broughtest them into the land, concerning which thou hadst promised to their fathers, that they should go in to possess it. So the children went in and possessed the land, and thou subduest before them the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, and gavest them into their hands, with their kings and with the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would. And they took strong cities and a fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods, wells digged, vineyards, and olive yards, and fruit trees in abundance. So they did eat, and were filled, and became fat, and delighted themselves in thy great goodness. Nevertheless, they were disobedient, and rebelled against thee, and cast thy law behind their backs, and slew thy prophets, which testified against them, to turn them to thee. And they wrought great provocations. Therefore thou deliverest them into the hands of their enemies, who vexed them, and in the time of their trouble, when they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and according to the manifold mercies thou gavest them saviors, who saved them out of the land of their enemies. But after they had rest, they did evil again before thee. Therefore leftest thou them in the hand of their enemies, so that they had the dominion over them. Yet when they returned and cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and many times didst thou deliver them according to thy mercies, and testified against them, that thou mightst bring them against unto thy law. Yet they dealt proudly, and hearkened not unto the commandments, but sinned against thy judgment, which is a man do, he shall live in them, and withdrew the shoulder, and hardened their neck, and would not hear. Many years didst thou forbear them, and testified against them by thy spirits in thy prophets, yet would they not give ear. Therefore gavest thou them into the hand of the people and of the land. Nevertheless, for thy great mercy's sake, thou didst not utterly consume them, nor forsake them, for thou art a gracious and merciful God. Now therefore, our God, the great, the mighty, and the terrible God, who keeps covenant and mercy, let not all the trouble seem little before thee that hath come upon us, on our kings, on our princes, and on our priests, and on our prophets, and on our fathers, and on all thy people, since the time of the kings of Assyria unto this day. Howbeit, thou art just in all that is brought upon us, for thou hast done right, but we have done wickedly. Neither have our kings, princes, our priests, nor our fathers kept thy law, nor hearken unto the commandments and thy testimonies wherewith thou didst testify against them. For they have not served thee in their kingdom, and in thy great goodness that gavest them, and in the large and fat land which thou gavest them before them. Neither turned they from their wicked works. Behold, we are servants this day, and for the land that thou gavest unto fathers to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof. Behold, we are servants in it. And it yieldeth much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us because of our sins. Also they have dominion over our bodies and over our cattle at their pleasure, and we are in great distress. And because of all this, we make a sure covenant and write it, and our princes, Levites, and priests seal unto it. Once again, this random read came from the book of Nehemiah, chapter 9, verses 1 through 38. Praise to God and confession of sins. It was a very lengthy read, but I have to say, when I read this morning, my mind was blown. And the reason for that is because I can do a comparison with America. Prior to all these things coming to fruition, as far as corruption and all the evil, we've become a society that just kind of forgot. We kind of forgot we were lost. And we have to be reminded that even though we go through what we're going through right now and we prevail, we can't get complacent again. That's what the Israelites did when Moses took them out of Egypt. They got complacent. And that's what happened to us, which is why we're in the state we're in right now. So you can take that long read for what it's worth, but for me, that read meant a lot to me because it reminded me, like, yo, don't forget that I'm still your God. So that's my take on the random read. I know that was lengthy, and I know it was kind of painful to hear me read because my reading skills are not up to par, and I'm losing my sight a little bit, but I guess that's what happens when you get old. Anyways, before I make the cocktail of the night, because since that was a pretty lengthy read, I'd like to greet the patrons who are in the bar this evening. Whiskey Blue, good evening, my friend. Thank you for coming by. Better get here early so I can get a seat up front. Picture good, no sound. Yeah, on the countdown, there's no sound. The sound usually comes when I start playing the Prohibition clips, and that's when the sound, that's when we start having sound. Ziploc, I don't believe I've seen you here around, but nonetheless, welcome to the bar, my friend. Welcome to the bar. Whiskey Blue says 5x5 now. Good evening, bartender. Well, good evening to you too as well, sir. Kiss, what is going on? Good evening. Thank you for being here. Oh, and by the way, Kiss, I just want you to know that I have a link tree now. I try to make it a lot more easier for everybody here. So all you got to do is just drop the link tree website. I mean, I can do that too. But right there it is. That's the link tree. That's everywhere you can find me. All my social media, all the ways you can support the bar financially, my merch store, my podcast, my website. You find it all there on that Linktree site right there. And don't forget, if you do decide that you want to check out the merch store and make a purchase, there is a 10% sale going on till the end of the month using discount code CORN in all caps. Corn, as in corn on the cob, as in bourbon corn. So yeah, that is the discount coupon there for that. And I don't see anybody else in the chats for now, so let's continue on, shall we? I have a lot of reading to do today. I really do. And I hope that it doesn't irritate you guys. Nonetheless, we are going to continue on and press on. So tonight's cocktail will be a rusty nail. We will be making the rusty nail tonight. And little history on the cocktail here. So this comes from Wikipedia. Nothing too fancy here. We just went to Wikipedia for this. So according to Wikipedia, for the history of the rusty nail, it says, according to cocktail historians David Wondrich, the rusty nail took a while to find its proper place in the world. The combination of Drambuie, the world's most distinguished Scotch-based liquor, and the whiskey it is made from first appears in 1937 in the form of the BIF, credited to one F. Bennyman. I don't know how to, Bennyman, I don't know. And ostensibly named after the British Industries Fair. Wondrich goes on to note that it took another generation or so for the drink to assure its classic name and form, during which time it tried on several identities. Here, it's a DNS. There's a little club number 1. The little club being a rather swank sort of joint on East 55th Street, much haunted by showbiz types. At USAF, officers' clubs in Thailand, and the Republic of Vietnam. It's a MiG-21, while in the upper Midwest, it's a knucklehead. The cocktail authority Dale DeGroff notes the Rusty Nail is often credited to the clever bartenders at the 21 Club in Manhattan, sometime in the early 1960s. The cocktail's name was finally cemented in 1963 when Gina McKinnon, the chairwoman of the Drambuie Liquor Company, gave the Rusty Nail her endorsement in the New York Times. DeGroff observes that in the early 1960s, check this out, the Rat Pack was enamored of the drink, which may have been responsible for the widespread appeal in those years. So that's a little history on the Rusty Nail. Hope that was interesting to you guys. Sometimes doing digs on these cocktail history, it's kind of fun because I don't know, I just like the history of the whole prohibition, liquor, and all that stuff, man. It's just interesting to me. Anyhow, let's go ahead and continue to make this cocktail, shall we? Let's go here. Bam. There we go. JFK Jr. right there. And the bartender. All right, so it's going to be a very easy drink to make. We're going to highball it, but we're going to be measuring it at the same time. So tonight, I'm starting off with a blended scotch, and the blended scotch of tonight's cocktail is going to be by Grand Old Parr, aged 12 years. It's a nice bottle. The scotch itself isn't that bad. So let's go ahead and start making this bad boy. So we're going to start off here by putting an ounce and a half of scotch, the blended scotch. All right. We got an ounce and a half of scotch whiskey there. Next, we're going to take 3/4 of an ounce of the Drambuie. All right, Drambuie. All right. So I I got some ice inside my rocks glass. I pre-chilled it before the show. Now I'm going to take my little stir straw here, put it in here, give it a little stir, and I have myself an orange peel. So let's go ahead and express I'm going to express the oils on top of the cocktail. I'm going to rub the orange peel around the rim of the glass. Give my peel a twist, a nice twist there, and we're going to use that for the garnish. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Drambuie, here's a little description of the thing. And this is going to be really tough for me to read because the lettering in this thing is just so tiny. The text is just so tiny on the bottle. Give me a minute. I'm going to get a flashlight here because this is how bad my eyes have gotten. All right, here we go. It says here, in 1745, Bonnie Pryce Charlie landed on the west coast of Scotland. Driven by fiery ambition, He was intent on reclaiming the throne of his ancestors, rallying many to his cause. Despite early victories, they were decisively defeated. They were decisively defeated at the Battle of Culloden, and Charlie escaped at the Isle of Skye, under the protection of the McKinnon clan. By way of thanks, he gifted them the only possession he had left, the recipe to his personal liqueur. They called it Drambuie, after the Gaelic, and dram. Oh my goodness, it's Scotch. I'm talking about the word. It's Scottish word. Budladek. Budadek, which means the drink that satisfies. After 100 years as a local secret, production started on mainland Scotland, and as Drambuie fame spread, it was soon being poured in the finest bars around the world. Today, the legend lives on, embodied in classic cocktails like the Rusty Nail and the Drambuie Collins. That's interesting. Maybe I should try a Drambuie Collins. Okay, so if you never had this, it has some. It's like herbal. It's like herbs and spices with Scotch, pretty much, and also heather honey. I've never drank this straight or neat, but on the nose, it smells like like herbs. If you ever had like Ricola, I mean that's like the best description I can give for Drambuie. If you ever had Ricola, you know those cough drops, that's kind of how it tastes like. So anyways, here's to the Rusty Nail. Cheers, everybody. Okay, it's pretty much Scotch with Ricola. It's pretty much what that is. I like the taste. It's got a nice honey flavor to it. Herbal, for sure herbal. And because I was squeezing or expressing the oils off of the peel from the orange, it gave it a little bit of a citrusy taste to it. So it's kind of thick. It has a little bit of thickness to it because the Drambuie is made with a little bit of honey, but it tastes great. It's a great cocktail. It really is. I'm gonna take another swig. All right, so there it is. Scotch with Ricola. That's the best way I can. That's the best way I can describe it. It's good though. It's good. Let's see what's going on in the chats here. Let's see. B Emmett. I think you meant D Emmett. It's right there. I mean, that's all that it takes. You know, I made it easy for everybody. I made it easy. Because dropping those links sometimes it just gets so it gets like I don't know. It's just easier to do the tree link. It's just easier. So yeah, thank you, Kiss. Thank you so much. Whiskey Blue says, I did a lot of partying in a little bar dance club back in my 20s called the Rusty Nail. Oh, is that right? We always called it the Crusty Snail. Good times. I bet. If usually when you go out and you nickname certain places, that means it's left a good impression on you or a bad one. But being that you said that you've had great times there, then it seems that it was a memorable place. So Kiss says, "Yep, I've had Ricola." Yeah, I think a bunch of us have had Ricola. Yes. All right. So that's the chat for now. Let's go ahead and get into this because we're on episode. Geez, what episode are we? We're on episode number 5 of This Is News, and boy, do I have one. Do I have a lineup of really dumb stories today? A lineup of dumb stories today. And by the way, we are streaming on the following platforms. We're on Twitch. We are on Facebook Live, and we are also on Twitter and Susan's channel. We're on Susan's channel as well. Let me just double check here if everything is okay on those channels. Okay, looks like Susan's channel is working there. Let's try Facebook. I'm just making sure that everything here is working. You know, because I don't have this is a solo gig apparently. And I'm on different platforms here. I got one viewer in Facebook Live. Hey, hello viewer. Okay, Facebook is working. Let's look at Twitter. Twitter Live profile. Okay, that's working. And of course, the last platform, which is Twitch. I know this is so unprofessional, people. I know, but you know. Anyhow, it seems to be working. Everything seems to be working fine and dandy. Well, let's go ahead and get to This Is News. All right. Let's start with this one. Let me go to the screen share with you guys here. All right, there we go. Here's the first stupid one up here. If I can just, let me fix this here. All right. Okay, so I went to my go-to, stupid.news. I think this is from the Huffington Post. I think it is because it says here the article is written by or published by Ethan Huff. And this was back in the 9th of this month of this year. Article reads, check this out, guys. After firing all unvaxxed doctors and nurses, Ontario orders hospitals and clinics to cancel non-urgent surgeries due to the lack of staff. Need I read the article? Need I read the article? I mean, I don't know, man. I'm going to read it anyway. I'm going to read it. Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kieran Moore, has announced that all non-urgent surgeries are being canceled throughout the province due to an overload of sick patients and not enough medical staff. I guess we can revert back to simple math, can we? And I'm not talking about that stuff that they teach nowadays. What's it called? Common Core? Because all unvaccinated nurses and doctors were recently let go from their jobs due to Canada's Charlie Victor 19 vaccine mandates, there are now not enough bodies on site to handle the influx of sick patients, many of whom are fully victored. Okay, I'm going to start using code here because I'm on other platforms now. So you guys know what I'm referring to now when I say Victor, okay? And it's not a person. Effective January 5th, anyone needing a surgery that the Canadian government deems to not be... Check that out. Check that. Social medicine. Huh? How's that? How you like them apples? How do you like them apples? Now they get to decide what's important, what's not important as far as your health goes. That's the problem with social medicine. You pay for what you get for what you pay for. Sometimes you might not get anything but bad stuff. I'm just saying. Effective January 5th, anyone needing a surgery that the Canadian government deems to be not that important, and who's to determine what's important or not, will have to wait indefinitely to receive medical care. The rule applies to both hospitals and independent health clinics throughout Ontario. Directive number 2, as Moore calls it, stipulates that all non-emergent and non-urgent surgeries and procedures must be put on hold in order to preserve critical care and human resource capacity. Whoa, dumbass, you fired a bunch of people. In the healthcare system, in light of rising infection cases due to the O variant, reports the Epoch Times. Since most cases of O, moronic, are occurring in people who got victored, this means that the media care at Ontario hospitals, medical, I said media, didn't I? What an idiot. I meant medical. Medical care at Ontario hospitals and health facilities is now being rationed strictly for the victored. I'm going to have to remix my words, guys. As much as like the intro said, we're in a different prohibition era, and it ain't alcohol. Catch my drift? This is consistent with what previously in place with Directive Number 2 and helps to ensure that health human resources remain available to support the province's Charlie Victor 19 response, said a spokesman from Ontario's health ministry, about how all health facilities are basically now barred from providing non-urgent / non-emergency procedures that require surgical nursing support or anesthesia. Health human resources. The frustration. The frustration and the entertainment of the stupidity is what's getting to me right now. Certain dental procedures also now banned due to lack of staff caused by discrimination against the unvictored. You see what I did there, guys? You see what I did there? Another casualty in Ontario's healthcare system is dental care that carries the risk of a patient requiring emergency medical services or other hospital services, or that require a sedation or anesthetic team. Thanks to Ontario's discriminatory policies that resulted in the unvictored medical workers basically being fired from their jobs, there are now not enough workers. Hello, I just told you, simple math. There are now not enough workers to even care for people's teeth. Dang. I hate to say it, but if this continues on in this country, we're gonna see the same thing. We're definitely gonna see the same thing if nothing changes. And I honestly gotta say that we only have this is just my opinion, okay? And I hate to, if the guy we have sitting in Oval Office right now is still there, we're doomed. I don't know. That's just an opinion of mine. And I'm not, let me read on. Surgery in a dental setting that meets these criteria must be urgent and emergent in order to proceed, the Times further revealed. According to Moore, these bans on medical care are expected to free up anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 beds, which are clearly need for all of the fully victored patients who are flooding hospitals in need of emergency care for their victor injuries. Would you look at that? Ha! These beds, Moore insists, are needed to provide oxygen and care to people who test positive for moronic or other variants of the Finocchio flu. There's so many words I'm having to remix. I mean, you know what? I guess my DJ skills, they come in handy while talking. They do. Moore expects a massive wave of of course, a massive wave of new patients who need to be hospitalized in the coming weeks. Obviously, because they probably got victored. After January, he says that the wave will likely taper off. Yeah, I doubt it. Specifically, cases are at the highest level since the start of the event, greater than 18,000 per day, and a continued acceleration in cases and increased hospitalizations are expected throughout January 2022, Moore's directive further states. Almost all the experts, they call themselves experts, guys. They call them experts. Seem to agree that moronic is relatively mild, though. Very few people who catch it or develop it, in the case of the fully victored, end up requiring hospitalization, especially if they are otherwise healthy and do not have other pre-existing conditions such as obesity. Public health care now means no health care. Wow. Oh, that pretty much breaks it down right there, doesn't it? That's exactly. I agree with that statement. The event is 2 years old and no increased capacity with declining Charlie hospital admissions from the Oscar variant, wrote one commenter at the Times. Hospitals are empty, wrote another. It's all lies. You know, I can attest to that. Let me just finish this real quick. I called our hospital. They have 2 hospitalized, serving 110,000 pop, added another. Affirming that same claim, total Charlie ward is 4 beds. Hospital has over 120 beds. So there it is. You people in Ontario, Canada. I don't know what to tell you guys, you know. I'm sorry. I guess I can say I'm sorry. Oh, man, amateur night. You might hear the song a little bit, but excuse me. We're going to go back to the bar. Okay. I just had a little bit of an amateur night thing happen over there. Let me go back to the bar. Okay. Oh man, my chat is not populating again. I hate when this happens, dude. Okay. All right. Let's see. Our Cloaked. Hey, what's going on, brother? Thanks for coming by tonight. I grew up in Chula Vista. Hey, San Diego. We had nicknamed Chula Juana because of Tijuana. I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there, my friend. DJ Kurisu is in the house. What's going on, my brother? Half a day to you as well and your family. Regards to your family, please. Give your children a kiss for me, man, and a hug. DJ Kurisu says, are we talking about Canada? How's about that, eh? Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Canada. Kiss with the cookie. Thank you so much for the cookie, darling. Thank you so much. Yeah, some of these things are so moronic, and I don't understand. I really don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. I do understand that, yes, this whole thing is to scare people. Yeah, I know. I know that there's a plan that these people, I mean, are they people? I don't know. These people who think they have power over us, I guess you can call that I can call them that. I guess these people who think they have power over us try to do things like this. And the moronic part about this is that a lot of people believe it. A lot of people believe it. And I just go by what I see. Like, my eyes don't deceive me. You know what I mean? My eyes don't deceive me. I see what I see, and I see a lot of stupidity going on. I really do. I mean, what else is there to say about this? What else is there to say? Oh boy. Let me prepare the next let me prepare the next thing that'll blow your mind, okay? Because it just never ends. It never freaking ends here. Oh. It just never ends, man. Yeah, and oh yeah. I said that I can attest to empty hospitals. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit, just a little thing. I mean, it's not really a big thing, but when this whole thing first started, and in my old job, I had to go out and do security for inmates that went out to the hospital, and I had to go out to the hospital and sit in the hospital for a 14 hour shift to watch the inmate. Because that's what deputies do, right? The security, safety and security, care and whatever it's called. Anyhow, there was one hospital that I remember going to, and they had their little Charlie Victor station outside, with the whole tent and whatever. I didn't see what was in the tent, but their little triage station outside with the tent, right? So they had one of those set up out there. Anyways, I went to because the inmate got admitted for whatever they went in for, and I forgot, because this was years ago. This is when it first started. Actually, it was like the middle of 2020. Yeah, it was like in the middle part of 2020. It was before all these stupid. Well, it was right around the same time where those stupid riots were happening. And I know this. I know this a little bit all too well. Anyhow, I noticed that in the hospital, as I was walking to the assigned room where the inmate was to relieve my partner for, because this was during in between shifts where I'm relieving my partner. I noticed that there were a lot of empty beds in the hospital, just a lot. Maybe it was just that floor, I don't know, but there was a lot of empty beds in that floor that I went to, and it's all because of the whole Charlie Victor thing, and there were more medical staff than there were patients in the hospital, at least on that floor. I can only say what I saw. And I saw a lot more nurses than I did patients in that floor. So, yeah, I believe it when people say that the hospitals are empty. I don't know about now, because this was like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. So yeah, Not to mention these hospitals were getting money from the feds too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like, there's some shenanigans going on with money here. There's just some shenanigans going on with the money here. Oh boy. All right, let's go to the next one, shall we? What do you think, guys? Let me go back to the chat room here. DJ Kurisu says we used to call it Cholo Vista. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can see why. DJ Kurisu, thank you for the can, my friend. Thank you so much. Here's to my maternal ancestral homeland. Well, I'm going to have to drink for that, man. Cheers to you, my friend. Oh, my gosh. DJ Cruzu says, my son's school got shut down, and now he's back to online learning. I'm so pissed. Well, I don't know how many times to tell you that you need to get out of that rock, dude. You know? I'm really excited that you're looking potentially to move down here to Texas. I'm very stoked because, you know, being that you're my best friend, we'll be a lot more closer and we'll be able to hang out more often and have the kids play with each other. But, I mean, I understand that you got your thing going on over there, and but the more longer you wait, the harder it is going to be for you to get out of that, to escape the rock. I'm just saying. DJ Cruza says getting some major buffering. No, and yeah, I see it right now, man, and it's beginning to, it's making me angry, to be honest, dude. Chinkaping 54 is in the bar. Haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? How you been? Thank you for coming by. Thank you so much for coming by. All right. The buffering in this is just bad. Okay, so if you're getting really bad buffering, I don't know if it's here on the Foxhole or pill.net, but there's other places you can check me out. You can check me out on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, Susan's channel, which is YouTube, and also on Twitch. So please, if you're having problems with the stream here and you're content about watching the show tonight, check out the other places too, because you can catch me streaming there, and I don't think there's any problems on the other platforms. I don't think so. So if you're having problems here on the Foxhole or pill.net, there's other places you can check me out. It'll also boost my numbers too on the other places if you go check those other places out to watch the stream. So I ask people, hook a brother up, help a brother out, rather. All right. Let me see here. Let me just double check on the other platforms how they're going. Looks like I got one on Facebook, one on Twitch, and none on the other platforms, which is cool. Yeah. Anyhow, I do see that the buffering, it's buffering bad. Yeah, I do see it. It's because of my OBS, man. I'm not getting the kilobytes per second. I don't know what it is. You know, I really don't know what it is. I gotta start getting a hard line for my streams, dude, because that's the only way it's gonna prevent me from having these buffering issues. I'm using the freaking Wi-Fi, and when I use the Wi-Fi, there's tendencies of problems there. So I have to I have to do something about that. Like, I need to start using a hard line. All right, let me get this next article up. Let me get this next article ready. Yeah, let me get this next article ready here. And I'll take you guys to it.
The bar is now closed.
No. I'm having a hard time today, guys. I'm having a hard time. I apologize. I apologize for the unprofessional mistakes that I'm making today. It's just amateurish, you know. But then again, I am an amateur. All right, here's the next article that at my go-to, stupid.news, once again. This one was published by J.D. Hayes. J.D. Hayes on the 12th of this month of this year. If you think California was the only problem with grading system problems, well, here we go. Virginia School Board wants to eliminate grading and allow unlimited redos. Get that. Unlimited redos. Of assignments in latest insane push for equitable grading practices. What does that mean? What is equitable grading practices? What is that? Well, I guess we'll find out, right? Read the article so you can find out. Left-wing cultural revolutionaries who have dominated public school education for far too long are continuing their efforts to further dumb down future generations by eliminating stringent academic requirements under the manufactured premise of achieving, quote, equity. Ground zero for this most recent craziness is Virginia. Despite the fact that voters threw out Democrats during last fall's election in large part because Republican candidates were promising parents that they would help them push back on the left-wing education insanity. How about that CRT? That's insanity right there. Damn, liberalism really, it does dumb you down, doesn't it? According to WJLA, and it looks like we're streaming well now, educators, I like how they put the quotes in there. Educators are pushing for a system that removes penalties for late homework assignments, would not allow students to earn extra credit to improve their grades, allows for multiple redos of assignments, and eliminates grading on homework. So what's the point of having homework if it's not graded, right? Why do homework if they're not going to grade it? Like, I don't know. If only you guys could see my facial reactions to this. All of which combined would set students up for a lifetime of underachieving failure. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing at this. But then again, my daughter is not part of the public school system. Since the real world will require them as adults to be competent and perform to higher standards. Well, I mean, I think it's too late because we got a bunch of dumb MFers that are running this country, to be honest. I'm just saying, man. I mean, I'm a product of the public school system. Granted that it wasn't here in the United States, it was somewhere else, but still, the quality, the you know, it's the same, you know. I'm not such a bright person, and part of that was my fault because I didn't pay attention, and you know, I skipped a lot of school, and you know, over the years, it bit me in the ass. It did, and I started learning things on my own, more things that are more important, and actually, truth. Also, the you know, the whole truth seeking thing, absolutely educated me a lot. And that was on my own accord. That wasn't through the public school system. It was because the public school system, I started doing my own research on shit. So take that for what that's worth. Supporters of this proposal argue wrongly that penalizing students for late assignments can lead to inaccurate grading. Well, explain how that happens. They also say without merit that students who who don't have as many resources, bullshit. There's no excuse, man. Like, these teenage kids have cell phones, man. So you're telling me they can't? They look up a whole bunch of dumb shit up in the on the internet. They produce a lot of dumb TikTok videos. So you're telling me they don't have the resources? That's BS. Are penalized when other students are able to earn extra credit, as those. Oh, geez, here we go. Here we go with the quotes. Underprivileged students have never met or surpassed educational expectations since the public education system was established. You know, all that starts in the home, okay? The child / student has to meet the teachers halfway. They have to. Because if they don't, then they're not going to listen to whatever's being taught. They sure as hell listen to a lot of propaganda from these liberal teachers, though. But I don't understand. I mean, that's probably what's keeping the attention of these students in school, is because they're just brainwashing them with a whole bunch of stuff to get them angry about certain things. I don't know, man. I mean, I need to take another swig. I just, stories like this, that's funny, yeah, but at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, I'm living in this world, man, and these are the type of people that are molding the youth. Not with my daughter, though. Also, reporters say that students ought not to be graded. What? On their homework. Well, then why even have homework if you're not going to grade them? Because the fear of making mistakes will have a negative impact on their learning process. Okay, that's, you'll never learn anything in life if you don't fail. Failure is a must. You have to fail. You have to fail in order for you to learn things, so you don't repeat things. You need to know where your weaknesses are. You know what I'm saying? When you shelter children, it affects them negatively. Okay? They can go rogue when they get older and just run amok. Or they won't be aware of people pulling a fast one on them. So you have to let them fall on their face now. It's just a temporary pain now that they're kids. Because once they get older, man, that's like in a different level. Because now you really, like, they don't know how to handle the pressure of life. I don't know anything. What do I know? I don't have a degree. There's no labeling of students or ranking of students, said Dr. Aaron Russo, the principal of Discovery Elementary. Gee, I wonder how you became a principal. During a meeting on the proposal. It's the ownership of what do I need to work on and where I am. But there are many sane teachers left. Many sane teachers left in the public school system, including in Virginia, and several at Wakefield High School in Virginia fired off a letter to the Arlington County Superintendent pushing back against the idiocy. As educators with decades of experience in APS, I don't know what APS stands for, are extremely concerned with several changes proposed in the new grading system and homework policy. It's not even a grading system if they're not going to grade the homework. I mean, what's the point of even doing homework? The letter said, "We believe that these changes will impact students' learning and socio-emotional development and growth in a negative way. The changes, if implemented, will also result in the decline of high expectations and rigor in the classroom across all APS high schools." The teachers go on to say in their letter that imposing assignment deadlines and issuing corrections put students on the road to developing skills they will need throughout their adult lives, including organizational time and stress management skills. Exactly. They need to know how to do that shit. That will help them, right? That will help them grow as responsible, civically engaged, and considerate young adults, which is what we need more of. More of. Also, they wrote, to achieve these ends, students should be held accountable. There it is. Students should be held accountable for completing their work in a timely manner and meeting deadlines that were reasonably established by their teachers. I get on my daughter for this all the time because my daughter hates doing homework. And I don't, I kind of understand because I hated it too. But I explained to her in a very simple way. And I got a story about that too. Like, let me finish this article because I got a story which kind of validated what I was trying to tell my daughter. And she was like, oh, okay. In addition, see, I can't even read. Public school system product right here. The teacher's voice concerns that without imposing grading and deadlines for assignments, it would create a nightmare scenario for teachers' evaluations. It's not only a nightmare scenario for the teachers, it's going to be a nightmare scenario for whole society. Can you imagine a bunch of dumb shits running? I mean, granted, we already have some of those running the country, but can you imagine? But then again, I said I do have a little story that I'd like to share with you guys. Finally, given the emphasis on equity in today's education systems, we believe that some of the proposed changes will actually have a detrimental impact towards achieving this goal, the letter said, according to the outlet. Families that have means could still provide challenging and engaging academic experiences for their children and will continue to do so, especially if their child or children are not experiencing expected rigor in the classroom. More specifically, those families can afford to hire tutors and sign up their children. Come on, dude. Well, how about some of the parents get involved with their kids' education so they know what they're learning? I mean, that's part of it too. You can take a couple hours of your time, parents, and be parents. This is not autopilot. You send your kid to school and it's just autopilot from there. You have to learn what the content they're learning, dude. You have to. Parents have to be responsible for that shit. It's not, I don't know, man. I don't know. Where was I? See, I lost where I was in the read. Oh, yeah. About signing up their children to attend enrichment activities and camps in hopes for preparing them for the college application admission process, the letter continued. Well, I mean, do you really want to push your children to college nowadays? I don't. I was very anti-college. I told my son after he graduated high school, I told him straight up, like, look, dude, I do not want you to go to college. What does he do? He does what every kid straight out of high school does. Don't listen to their parent. And he found out himself. He said, Dad, you're right. I was like, yeah, I know I'm right. Oh, my goodness, man. Students who come from families which are not as savvy or aware, well, that's the responsibility of the individual. They have to know, They have to be in the know. They do. There's no excuse. We have the internet. Like, you can find things on the internet. You have freaking smartphones now. Will be subject to further disadvantage because that word, man, because they will not be held accountable for not completing their homework assignments and or formative assessments according to the deadlines set by their teachers. Such results are anything but equitable. Conversely, see, I can read these words, and I'm a product of the public school system. Well, sort of. They offer our most needy students reduced probability for preparing for and realizing post-secondary opportunities, it adds. Equity is just a fabricated term to replace equality. Yeah. You see how they spin these words? And give it a there's the R word, man, and give it a racist anti-white component. But it is also a term used to set students up to fail. Ugh. That was painful, dude. That was so freaking painful to read, man. I'm yelling at the freaking article, dude. Let's go to the bar, shall we? Bam. Let me go back with you guys. All right. Let's see what's going up here on the chats. I know that was a lengthy read, but nonetheless, it's the entertainment value of it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's go here. Where was I? The chat room is jumping. Chinkaping 54 says probably a good thing. DJ Kurisu says seems to be okay on Facebook. Thank you, sir. Chinkaping 54, I'm fine. Been dealing with mom's estate and Reno on her house. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. If it's like a loss of family thing, I'm very sorry to hear that. Kiss drops the link. Thank you so much, babe. Kiss says unprofessionalism. Yeah, that's me. That's me. No worries. Well, thank you. And that's probably part of the reason why people like to tune into shows like mine, because they just like the rawness of just being a human. You know, who wants to see these robotic people in suits anyway? Who does? I don't. That's why I don't watch the news. Well, a good friend of mine here on the Foxhole who has a news show, I watch his. Don't pay much attention to it. I mean, I hear things here and there. I'm mostly there for moral support because I love the guy, Mr. C. Let's see. Chinkaping says, how about teaching to the test? Worst practice ever. BC Smalls, never seen you here before, but nonetheless, thank you for coming to the bar. Where's Biden's cure for cancer? He promised anyone? He promised a lot of shit, and he probably forgot what he promised, to be honest. DJ Cruz says, yes, teaching to the test is awful. No critical thinking. Yeah. Yep. Chinkapin says, get back to the basics. Absolutely. With this whole Common Core thing, I don't get it. And I'm glad that my son just scaved out of freaking high school not having to be taught that shit. Not only that, but my daughter, she's taught proper math and reading and English and all that stuff. So we're very fortunate as far as that's concerned. Chinkapin says, try that on your employer. Yeah, right? Can you? Okay, so whatever it is, like your supervisor tells you to do something, and you have a due date on it, and you just don't do it, or you do it and it's real crappy, and you say, well, yeah, I mean, why are you so concerned about the quality? I mean, they weren't concerned about the quality back in school. They weren't grading me. Why are you grading me? Racist? I don't know. Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that, man. I can, and it's mind blowing. Hey, WC, what's going on, my friend? Was hanging at Mr. C's way heavy. Good to see ya. Good to see you too. Much love, BAC. Well, I'm glad you're here, my friend. I really am. BC Small says, I need Biden's cure. Well, good luck with that, man. I hope you're not holding your breath because, yeah, that's... He still has about, about 2 more years left in office. So, there might be hope. I don't know. Hey, what's going on, Sea Dragon? Thanks for coming by tonight. Fuck it. Just mail them their diplomas and be done with it. I mean, what's the point of even going to school? Seriously, what is the point, right? Why we got to do anything at all? Why? Jeez. Pilled by the rabbit. What's going on, my friend? Good evening to you, sir. I think Mr. C's report just got too heavy for some of us. Hello, Keep. I'll take a shot. Wow. You're the second person who said that. What's going on over there? I like the intentions of Mr. C, and he does that because, let's face it, like some of the things that he talks about needs to be heard. It needs to be heard because if we don't know, the things that are going on, that are really going on, are we really going to do anything about it? It's part of that thing of putting that fire in you saying, dude, screw this. Like, we need to do something like right now. We need to do something like 3 days ago. Nonetheless, I'm glad that you guys are here. Thank you for coming by. And yes, this is just, this is news. So it's a little bit of an entertainment thing. It's more of a reactionary thing. What I do when I read these, when I read these ridiculous stories, because they are ridiculous. WC says, if that's the case, I'm freaking Einstein. Don't give yourself too much credit now. Oh boy. BC Small says, give me Biden's cure. Man, why do you keep asking me for that? I don't support the dude. I don't know anything about anything, dude. I'm just an everyday person, man, just like you. What's the saying? I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut, dude. PBTR. Hey brother from different mutta. Oh, he's pilled by the rabbit. Yeah, okay. Ziggy. Oh, have not seen you in the bar before, but nonetheless, thank you for coming. Can't keep those training wheels on forever. Right? At some point in time, in your life, you have to fall. And it's probably the easiest to fall as a kid. But that also depends on what kind of parent you are. Right? Like you can't, okay, for us, here's an example. Here's an example of how I am with my pardon me. So when my kids were young, like toddlers and babies trying to learn how to walk and stuff, like every time they fell, I wasn't the type of parent that, oh my goodness, my little baby, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do that shit. I just picked my kid up and say, hey, come on, get up, man. Like, don't make it such a big deal, because the more you be like, oh my, no, then they're going to start to react and cry and become weak. Like, I never did that with my kids. Even when my kids were learning how to ride a bicycle, when they fell, I was like, get back up, man, do it again. So you're right. You're right, Ziggy. We can't have the training wheels on forever, dude. We can't. At some point in life, you have to fall. And the easiest way I mean, the best way is to fall when you're a kid, because you'll learn how to deal with that when you're an adult. You'll learn how to deal with bigger problems when you become an adult. You know? So I agree. I agree with that statement big time. BC Small says, rewarding being a loser? I mean, yeah, isn't that like socialism already, though? That's like socialism, right? I don't know. I don't know shit, man. WC Cranop, thank you so much for the gold pills, my friend. Thank you so much, brother. I gave you a grounding steak, so no excuse, brother. Ground your ass. I will, sir. I will. I still yet have to open something. I've been so busy trying to freaking chase leads for my other thing, my other business. And it's been frustrating, you know. Yeah. I'm talking about my DJ business. I know I shouldn't be mixing my business here and there, you know. Sea Dragon says, don't go to college and become stupid. Dude, I just didn't go to, I mean, I went to college. I did a little bit, and that was enough for me to say that fuck that. Like, this ain't for me. That's just that was just me. And I had decent grades. Like, I actually had decent grades. You know? I didn't have anything below a B in college. So BC Small says, I love my American tea. Well, I like Japanese green tea. I mean, that's just yeah. WC Crane Up says, stupid is as stupid does. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So if we have stupid teachers, what do you think we're going to have stupid kids. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of put 1 + 1 together, and it's not Common Core math, right? The blind leading the blind. I don't know. Whiskey Blue says, listening, lurking, and working. Well, you do you, sir. You do you. But I'm glad you're here. I really am glad you're here. Kiss with the cookie. Thank you so much. BC Small says, butter? No, it's margarine. Remember that commercial? WC says, was 30 when I got my GED for me. Took some college courses, had debates with college grads that didn't go so good for them. Just saying. Well, sometimes when because where I used to work, in my line of work, people went to college and they were doing that job, and I was one of those. I was kind of fiddling with school and work because I work a night shift. But you'd have some of these people who have bachelor's, master's degrees or whatever, and when I hear them talk, I'm like, dude, you're dumb. I'm just maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the dumb one. I don't know. Sea Dragon said, Ted Kennedy promised a blonde in every pond. Did he? He must have been... he must have had an alcoholic beverage when he said that. I don't know. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Fisherman 12, good evening. Thank you for coming to the bar. Hello to you too. BC Smalls says, let the kid go. Play out in the world. Yes, let them. Let them make the mistakes and then let them learn from it. Of course, when it gets to like really serious trouble and stuff like that, or help them. But of course, the job of a parent is to guide their children, right? They have to guide them. They have to set these parameters for their children to say, hey, look, dude, like I'm trying to guide you this way because these bad things can happen if you don't listen to me. And some kids just don't listen, and then that's when you kind of just let them learn the hard way. Anyways, oh yeah, as I was saying, the story that I did want to share before I forget, before I say, let me take a swig of the rusty nail. So I was having this I was having a one-on-one with my 10-year-old daughter, who absolutely doesn't like doing homework. And I get it, because I was kind of the same way too when I was her age. I hated schoolwork. I hated to go to school. I just, the only reason why I went to school is because of friends, because of girls, because of sports. Those are the only reasons why I went to school. But in high school, forget about it. Like, I was barely in high school. Anyways, I was talking to my daughter, and I was having a one-on-one. Like, I was having a little heart-to-heart with her, with many more to come, I'm pretty sure. But, she was saying, like, yeah, Dad, I don't, because she's the type of person who doesn't want to just bang her homework out, like right after school, because she does online school. She's homeschool / online, and the program she goes to. And look, I'm going to endorse them because they've been really, so far, the results have been really good. Freedom Project Academy. If you're considering to homeschool your children, I would highly recommend Freedom Project Academy. Freedom Project Academy. They have Judeo-Christian values, and they teach what they should be teaching the kids. And I've been very, very impressed with that program since she's been going through that since kindergarten. And she only attends school for like 2 hours, right? So she's in front of the computer. I'm sure she gets breaks every once in a while, like 5-minute, 10-minute breaks or whatever. But she's only studying in school, like she's only in quote school for like 2 hours, okay, in front of the computer. So I tell her, I'm like, dude, you're in class for only 2 hours. Like, your friends, they have to wake up early in the morning, go to a place called school, and they have to stay there from like, I don't know, what is it nowadays, like 8 o'clock to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're looking at what, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, that's 7 hours of school. 7 hours of school. And who knows what they're teaching their kids. And not only that, but like, who knows what kind of bad habits your kid is picking up from the other bad kids. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, I said to my daughter, I'm like, look, I keep telling you that if you just put 2 hours of your time on top of the 2 hours that you have in class and just do your homework because it shouldn't take you more than 2 hours to just finish all your homework. If you continue that on, that's 4 hours total of class, as opposed to your friends who have about 7 or 8 hours. And you have the rest of the day to do what you want. So I was trying to, and I always try to explain this to her. And, she just says, oh, I don't like to do homework because it's boring. It's this, it's that. I'm like, well, I said, do you want to grow up to be a dummy? I keep telling her that, like, do you want to be somebody who doesn't know how to do like basic math or anything like that? So anyways, we're having this conversation as we're going to get some ice cream. It's only my daughter and I in the car, because my wife said, please take her because I need a break from her. Which is fair. It's a fair thing. Like, okay, I'll take her out. You can be at home with the dog, just you and the dog, and you can have a break from her. Because, I get it. So we went to go to Sonic. I don't know if you guys know Sonic. It's kind of like those 50s drive-in diner type of restaurant, with the waitress and the roller skates coming out, but they don't do that. Anyhow, went to the drive-thru, and I just wanted to order some ice cream. So here I am at the freaking speaker, and I'm waiting, right? I'm waiting for a while just to order some ice cream. So the guy finally comes to the speaker. I give him my order. I pull up to the window where you pay and pick up your stuff. And granted, it was only ice cream that I ordered. It took a while for him to make the ice cream, for one. And when he finally was done with making the ice cream, he told me the total for the ice cream, and I gave him $20. I believe the total was like $10.15. Was it $10.15? Yeah, it was something like that. $10.15. I gave him a 20. So basic math, your change. What's your change? It would be $9.85, right? That's basic math, right? $9.85. This motherfucker just gave me $8 and some random change he had on the counter as my change. So I just drove off because I just had it with him, and I was getting upset at the amount of change that I got from this kid, because he looked like he was like 18, possibly still in high school, maybe not, I don't know. But I said to my daughter, I was like, look, these are my exact words. Look at what this motherfucker gave me. And my daughter, and she's like, what are you talking about, Dad? I said, this motherfucker gave me random change. Like, he doesn't know basic math. And then I said to my daughter, you see why it's important for you to do your work? Because you don't want to be a dumb shit like that. And I wasn't upset because he shorted me $1 and some change. I was upset because I was waiting for a long time, and when he finally finished, like, he gave me the wrong change. And he didn't even apologize for saying, I'm sorry. That's one thing too, is like consideration has just gone out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't even apologize anymore. Not that I'm looking for one. It's just, it's consideration, But I ended up saying to my daughter, like, this motherfucker, I was upset. And, I even told my daughter, look, I'm not upset at you. I'm just upset at the fact that I had to wait, and this guy doesn't even know anything about how much I was supposed to get back as change, which is $9.85. Basic math. Basic. And that kid couldn't even do it. And I said, you see what happens if you don't do your homework? So that experience kind of like validated, why she should be studying in school and stuff like that. And I can see in her face that she finally understood that too. So for the past few days, like, when she's done with school, now she does her homework, and it's good. It's good. Now she has a lot of time. She has a lot of her own time, So that's kind of the story that I wanted to share, because of, a story like that I just read, and then having to experience that shit in Sonic. And I said, wow, dude, they can't even hire good help nowadays. Anyways, I know I'm just freaking like venting or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that you guys see the same shit that I do. I'm pretty sure. We're not a bunch of dummies here on the Foxhole or wherever you're listening. We're not. Like, we're smarter. And not only that, but we see through a lot of BS. So, oh boy, man. I feel like I'm just... Anyhow, let's get back to this. I'm probably backed up on the chats, to be honest. I probably really am. Fisherman 12 says, hi, gang. BC Small says, brains. Isn't that what the zombie said in Night of the Living Dead? I don't know, man. Sergeant Sparky says, parquet. You remember the commercial. Or the one with the crown. Remember the one with the crown? Yeah, this is the same thing, I think. With the talking Tupperware, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Pilled by the Rabbit says, I can't believe. Okay, so people who are on other platforms listening, I'm reading the chats of people that are on pilled.net or foxhole.app. And, if you'd like to interact, which would be cool, you should jump over to those platforms, to those two platforms, and join in on the fun, because it's fun. I don't know. Oh, man. Anyhow, let me get back to the chats. Let's see. Pilled by the Rabbit says, I can't believe it's not butter. Did you see butter lately tonight? I saw what you did there, man. I saw what you did there. Sea Dragon, if you want to punish your kid, just make them watch The View. Look, dude. We can't do that, man, because that could lead to death. That could lead to suicide, man. So, that's a little bit too harsh there. I think that's a little bit too harsh. Sergeant Sparky says, this guy knows how to drink. Oh, I'm pretty sure you do. BC Small says, are they going to legalize cannibalism next? At the rate we're going, who knows, man? Who knows? WC Crane Up says, shoot, he's been pounding all night. Couldn't keep up if I tried. Laughing my ass out. Poonslayer, what's going on? I like fun. Hey, Anka, what's going on? Big hugs to you, girl. Thank you for coming to the bar. And the party continues here. Good evening, fam. And hiya, bartender. Hugs. Thank you. Thank you for the cookie, too. Sea Dragon says, when the new guy gets here, must buy a round for... Yeah, I like that. I actually like that. I like that idea. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's... you know what? Let me... because my time here is running really short, guys, and I have to get... I know I just kind of like... Sometimes I can just fucking go on a tangent, man, and just kind of vent. But then again, like, I know some of you guys here too are for the same reasons. You come here to vent too, because this world can get fucking crazy. It can. It really can. And sometimes it's one of those things where you have to find a place where people can relate to what you're saying. And this is it. Like, this is the bar, This is the bar. So consider it a good place to hang out and just, let yourself loose sometimes. Not too loose, though. Because that leads to, like, craziness sometimes. All right. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to this one right here. I'm going to take you guys to the article here. Here we go. Next story up. This article was published on the 17th of this month by news editors. I don't know what news agency did this one. As you know, stupid.news is just aggregate. So it's a collection of different types of articles from different places. I just had to take a swig. I just had to, man. This kind of stuff will make you drink sometimes. I don't know. Anyhow, Charlie, a collision of historical and scientific illiteracy. Wow. Now, if you guys weren't here earlier, since I'm streaming on other platforms as well, I'm on Facebook Live, I'm on YouTube and Twitter Live and Twitch. I kind of have to talk in codes now, so I'll be changing some of these words to phonetic alphabet. So, just so I don't get kicked out. Like, I need to start expanding and growing the channel. you know. Anyhow, it's been a year since I've written anything for this blog. The reason, frankly, is that I have been at a loss for words. You know, I'm already beginning to think that I can relate to this guy, because I'm at a loss for just more. I'm at a loss at not just words, for a lot more other things too. My thoughts and everything. I don't know. What has happened to human society in the last 2 years has been, for anyone with an understanding of history, beyond belief. Article by Kevin Ryan, republished from offguardian.org. Oh boy. Here we go. Strap on them seatbelts, guys, because this is going to be a roller coaster ride, I'm already thinking. Of course, it should not be beyond belief, because we know history repeats itself. And, you know, we have to stop this shit with history repeating itself. We really do have to stop. We do. You know, we do. And in the last 2 years, it has been repeating with a vengeance. Right? I spent 18 years working to understand and help others understand the crimes of September 11, 2001, which we should never, ever forget. We should never, ever forget that. Never. Those crimes were never honestly investigated apart from the work of independent researchers. The official accounts are widely known to be false, and those who have taken the time to look deeper have found that there are good reasons to believe that people within the government and major corporations were involved in planning and executing the attacks. The September 11th was a deception used by rich and powerful people to steal resources, consolidate power, and control the masses. It was just one example of such a mass deception. Others include the following. Man, these are going to be a bunch of conspiracy theories here. The CIA's assassination of JFK, the false Gulf of Tonkin incident that escalates the CIA's war in Vietnam, the deceptions used to justify the 1991 Gulf War, the government-sponsored 2001 anthrax attacks, you remember that? With the inside the envelopes? Claims of weapons of mass destruction used to justify the second invasion of Iraq, the many manufactured terrorist events following 9/11, previously hyped events, including the 2005 bird flu and 2009 swine flu. Why do they name this after freaking animals? Was that like the year of the bird, the year of the rooster, and the year of the pig? I don't know. Could there be a correlation there too? I don't know. That were grossly exaggerated by the World Health Organization for the benefit of big pharma companies. Along with these conveniently overlooked crimes, the last 18 months have shown that the 9/11 lie was not taken seriously. Anyone who still believes that government and media care about our health has forgotten that deep state actors murdered thousands of citizens on 9/11. The corporate media and corporate-owned governments that covered it up so that 1 million more could be murdered to steal resources and control people. Historical illiteracy is largely to blame for the Charlie scare, although much of that illiteracy is by choice. Through willful ignorance of events that cause cognitive dissonance, the examples cited above are but a few in a long history of deceptions used by governments to drive the agendas of the powerful few. People who ignore these historical facts not only turn a blind eye to history, they ignore painfully obvious features of current affairs, including that terrorism has mysteriously disappeared. people don't want to acknowledge the fact that we do not live in a democratic society, in democratic societies any longer. I don't want to believe that. No, I don't understand why people call this place a democracy to begin with, because democracy is it's mob rule. Like, we're in a constitutional republic, supposedly. We're supposed to be. Yet today the world is fully run by an oligarchy, and that oligarchy wants us to be diverted and outraged about superficial things while staying ignorant or silent on issues important to us, like the following: indefinite detention without charges at Guantanamo Bay, unwarranted mass surveillance, voting machine hacking and election theft, failure to prosecute the crimes of previous administrations, for example, drone killings targeting weddings and funerals, torture at CIA black sites, the increasing totalitarian censorship of dissenting views. This is why I'm talking like there's certain words I have to say in code now because of this shit, you know? Some people have accepted or ignored the poverty and famine being driven by the reckless response to Charlie, and have also ignored that the people driving the Charlie scare have a history of crimes against humanity. A history? They're still doing it. I guess you could say they do have a history, but they're still doing it. Not the least of these are Bill Gates, who have monopolized healthcare and has tried to buy off the media, and Anthony Finocchio, who is known for having killed nearly 200,000 HIV patients with the toxic drug AZT. Wow, dude. That guy. How has the public's willful ignorance been established so easily? The Charlie crimes were carefully practiced beforehand through a series of exercises conducted by governments and corporations since 9/11. And the operation builds upon elements utilized in all the previous government crimes against humanity. Here are three primary components. Man, whoever wrote this wrote it really good. As has been demonstrated through all of history, the most effective way to dumb down a population is through fear. Communism, terrorism, WMDs, virus, it all works the same way. The basic feature of the Charlie scare is one of many features and outcomes that is shares with previous psychological operations. I was just talking to a good friend of mine today about all sorts of stuff. Censorship is another. Yeah, there we go. That C word right there, man. That's why I talk in code with some of these words. Is another hallmark of authoritarian tyranny, and we are seeing it raised to a new level in the media today. Any doctor or scientist who has spoken about the obvious lack of scientific scrutiny applied to the Charlie scare has been blocked on social, and that's why I'm using code, because I don't want to be blocked. Let me just continue to read on. Social media, and ignored or smeared on television, radio, and in print. In America, the most useful tool driving willful ignorance has been the narrative behind the phony two-part system in politics. I agree, which is why I don't really follow that anymore. The Charlie scare works in part because many Americans are easily controlled, through the farcical theater of left-right identity politics. Today, if you want the left to take a position, all that is needed is to frame it as opposition to Trump. Control of the right is just as easy. This works despite the fact that we are ruled by an oligarchy that does the same thing no matter who is in office. Man, the person that wrote this did a great job. Kevin Ryan, offguardian.org. Shouts out, man. Great article. Great. I like it. Let's go back to the bar, y'all. All right. Let me go back to the bar now. Okay. Let me go to the chat rooms here real quick. Let's see. Where were we at? Where were we at? Here we go. Two Rivers. What's going on, friend? Thanks for coming by. I'm certainly not new. Tracy PCB, good evening, friend. I'm here, round for all. There you go. Anka says, I saw a doc on Gab where cannibalism is in full swing at McDonald's. And are you serious? I don't eat there. But I do admit before I did, because I like the McGriddles. I'm guilty of eating McGriddles, but not lately. Not lately. Sea Dragon says AJ plans to eat his neighbors. Just looking at that stomach, looks like he has already. I don't know. I'm just saying. BC Smalls says it's cruel and inhumane. Val Hall says, hi all. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of new not new people, but like either people I have not seen in a while and new names around here. Good evening. Thanks for coming in. Anka says, hugs to all present. Tanette Booth, good evening. Thank you for coming by. Hello, peeps. Poonslayer says, go kiss your daughter and have a good night. I will. As soon as we're done. I always do that every night when she goes to sleep. Two River says, right now I could use a chocolate bar. I can't. I can't do that. I had some ice cream yesterday, so I can't. Sea Dragon says, I made a bunch of memes on pill.net. Cool. Is it, did you post them? BC Smalls is cheers. Xena. Hey, Xena. Good evening. Thanks for coming by. Tanette Booth. Tanette Booth says, great conversation, but the repeating video is off-putting. Is off-putting. Well, I mean, I can't. I would love to be in front of the camera doing this, but apparently I can't. I will do this though. I know it gets kind of like, I don't know, but I'll do this. There you go. Now you can see something a little bit different. As a little bit different there. Renee 0304. Good evening. I've never seen you here before, but nonetheless, welcome into the bar. Welcome. Line 'em up. And love, prayers, peace, cheers. Same to you. Thanks for coming to the bar. Thank you. Poonslayer says, I think that's Pluto. WC Crane up again with the gold pills. Thank you so much. What's that? 1,111 gold pills. One's for my friends out there. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Val Hall says Kitty Woo was making dark chocolate covered strawberries. Dang, that sounds real good, doesn't it? Sounds like something you'd find in Godiva. Godiva chocolate. Godiva chocolatier. Man, they make good stuff. Well, I'm not going to even lie about that. If you guys do decide that you're going to buy some Godiva chocolate, make sure you get them at like TJ Maxx or something like that, because they're way cheaper if you buy them there. I'm just saying. If you happen to find them there. Let's see. BC Small says you need to speak the gay alphabet. No. No. Two River says, I like the dried fruit salami. let's see here. Everybody, you guys are just interacting with each other, which is cool. Poonslayer says, yes, all true. Two River says, all kinds of crimes happened that day while and after those buildings were taken down. Yeah, no, I know. I was, you know, I saw what happened live on TV, but then again, there's theories about that too. But nonetheless, like, I saw stuff that was happening there on TV, and it blew my mind. And look, initially I was one of the people who bought the whole story, you know? I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I don't know if I ever explained this. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have, but I've been in the know. Excuse me. I've been in the know what's going on. Not Secret Squirrel stuff, but I kind of found out what generally happened, you know, truthfully, in 2006, all because of my old coworker who told me to watch this movie called Loose Change, and that movie absolutely changed my life around. It did, because after that movie, I started doing my own digging, and you know, I used to be an avid listener of AJ religiously years ago. But then, you know, of course, you know, he started like being all kind of screwy, and I just stopped listening to him and just, you know. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I was trying to find my own truth. So, yeah, you know. Let's see. Everybody's talking amongst each other here. I'm getting text messages. Okay. Cranop says, I'll be the pain in the ass. Speak. Yadeya. Tell us something we don't know. Just humor, brother. Let's see. No, I know it's humor. I know. But you know, sometimes like venting, I don't know, man. Anka says, I kinda invited myself to a thing that WC Cranop and Pilled by the Rabbit planning in Utah. I always wanted to do a road trip that big. Oh, are you gonna go too? Two Rivers with the toilet tissue. Whatever that means. Zena says, fam, I'm going to lie down now, so I will be in lurk mode. Much love. Prayers, and I'm assuming, is that popcorn? Cool. You do you. BC Small says, Democrats eat the diseased pussycat. Let's see. Mr. C, what's going on, my friend? Thanks for coming by the bar. Howdy. Got here as soon as I could. Well, I'm glad to see you here, man. I am glad to see. I gotta be honest. I'm glad to see you here, bro. Man, everybody's all just active up on the chats and interacting with each other. That's cool. I think that's great. I think that's really great. Sit down, Tony. Shut up. You know, I had an idea for a shirt, and I'm probably gonna get a shirt. I'm probably gonna make a shirt. So be on the lookout for that on my merch at the merch store. It's gonna be a limited edition stuff. I'm gonna start having some limited edition stuff. You might be on the lookout for that, because I'm in the works right now of trying to get something done for a limited edition shirt. I'll probably do like one a month or something like that. So be on the lookout for those. Those will be real fun. Anka says, I don't know where they got it and if there is receipts, but it was all about that. I don't know what that's in regards to. You could be talking to somebody else. I just don't know if it is trust. It's probably in regards to something else. I too used to enjoy the McGriddle. Yeah, dude. Oh, are you okay? So you must be talking about the whole McDonald's BK thing. A lovely touch of sweet and savory. Yep. Plus, I love breakfast. Yeah, I like breakfast food too. That's my weakness, man. I like pancakes. I like waffles. I love waffles. Crepes. I have crepes sometimes. Crepes are good. Besides, Mr. C, how are the crepes? How are the crepes? You know what I mean. Val Hall says, last time I ate at McDonald's 20 years ago, I immediately felt sick. Wow, that was 20 years ago. I'm just waiting to see how bartender will read my post above. Which one? What post? About McDonald's? Val Hall says if you want some great chocolate, get medicinal chocolate. Yes, from Yes Cacao. It's so good. These are just random stuff we're talking about here. Dude, I cannot read Russian. Come on, dude. What do you think I am? A Russian bot? That Anka says that works way better. Man, I can't read that. I really can't. I'm trying to decipher it. Good luck. There's no way I can decipher that. BC Small says we all ugly on the inside. We just live with it better. And everybody's interacting. Hey, Cloaked, what's up? What's up, Speak, and everyone else? All of my love to all of you. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you, man, for coming by. For reals, for reals. Whiskey Blue says, first time caller, long time listener. Is this so, dude? I don't sound like him. He's got a really like deep voice, man. I just don't have that. So did I, unfortunately, says Renai. Val Hall says I saw it on TV Live too, and turned to my partner and said, what the fuck are Bush and Cheney pulling on the American people right now? As I watched. Wow, even you knew that shit was going on behind the closed doors back then. I didn't, because I didn't care about it. I got to be honest, like I didn't care about anything till 2006. Sea Dragon says there were things happening prior to 9/11 that led to 9/11. Yeah, well, the Iraqi War was one of them, wasn't it? Tanet says Whiskey Blue, no, the Speak Uneasy. Okay. Let's see. Val Hall says I've been awake a long time though. Yeah, I was about to say that you probably knew a lot more shit than, because I I didn't care. I really didn't care about anything. Even after having my first child, I didn't care what was going on, and I didn't know. I wasn't privy to all this information. You guys are speaking Russian, dude. Like, I don't know what you're saying. Cloak says, crane up, shoot me. Okay, no. Twitter says, white and dark chocolate drizzled popcorn is yummy. So is caramel popcorn. Mr. C says, I was going to ask you about the crepes. I've never been to that restaurant, but have wanted to. Dude, like, it was closed. It was straight up closed. Southern grief for freaking McDonald's. Two Rivers says, who's the one with the I'm a Russian bot theme song? Cloak says, I never liked McDonald's. I did when I was a kid. I loved McDonald's when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, though. Mr. C, he's talking to WC. Two Rivers says that that was Ukrainian, not Russian. I don't know, man. They kind of look alike to me. And it's kind of like Chinese, Japanese. Like, yeah. Oh, no. Two in the pink. I'm not reading. I'm not going to say that one. Tonight, Boots says the smell from McDonald's makes me ill. Beefy Small says, yes, you're a narrator. Iraqi war came, Mr. C said, Iraqi war came after, unless you were talking about Desert Storm. I was talking about Desert Storm. You know, but also with the whole Vietnam War as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure that a lot of that stuff too, you know, was, yeah. Valhall says, and then I fought the chemtrails for the past 17 years. Sea Dragon says Kosovo, where we removed the government and placed Muslims ahead of everyone. Anka says we were talking previously about frozen yogurt. Oh, I see. Frozen yogurt, huh? Valhall says they were spraying us worse than ever. Worse than ever still. No, they still are though, because I see that stuff. I still see that stuff up in the sky from time to time, man. Two River says, just kidding. Speaking of, that was Russian linguistics. Mr. C says, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, dude, because I really wanted to have some crepes. Ice cream crepes, to, you know, on top of that. All right. Tanette Booth says, chocolate is loud to have 25% bugs. Yeah, no, I've heard about something like that. Mr. C says, sure you were. Laugh aloud, just joking. Okay. Caught up with the chats, dude. All right. So I'm at my 2 hour. I'm actually past my 2 hour mark. So I'm going to go ahead and share this video with you guys before I close the bar down. So let's consider this like a last call at the bar kind of deal. And you know, if you started coming here, like, I don't know, if you started, I shouldn't say started, but I started this thing where I want to end the show with all these stupid news articles with a Paul Harvey clip. Those of you who don't know who Paul Harvey was, he was like a radio personality who reported news, sort of. And I want to share this particular clip. I think it's something that needs to be heard. This was done back in 1965. I wasn't even born, you know. Not to say anything bad about people who were born around that time, but I wasn't even born when this message came out. So he must have been in the know for something. Anyhow, let's go. Why does it look like that? Oh boy, hold on. Why does it look like this? Yeah, why does it look like that? I don't understand. Let me just fix that real quick. There we go. Okay. So this is called Paul Harvey Freedom to Change back in 1965. So I'm going to play this before I close the bar down. Consider this the last call. I really appreciate all you guys for coming by. And if you have not followed me in any of the social medias, I recommend you do so if you enjoy what you hear. You can follow me on pill.net, thefoxhole.app. I'm on Facebook. I am on Instagram, Gab, CloutHub, and Twitter as well. So I do have a link tree. Let me drop the website for the link tree there, so that if you're interested, you can always follow. And you can also support the bar by different types of means. I mean, gold pills are cool, but there's other means of doing it as well. There's I do have gosh, I do have PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and also I have a merch store. I am having a sale 10% off till the end of the month using the discount coupon CORN. Type in the word CORN all in caps, and you get your 10%. And yeah, and it helps to fund this this operation for my virtual bar. You know, I also have a website as well. If you want to go check that out, everything is right there on the geez, I didn't even change the screen there, but it doesn't matter now. What was I gonna say, man? I forgot. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I have a website too if you want to check that out. So there it is. And for you guys out there on you know, hold on. Let me go back here to the bar real quick. Let me drop that link off to those people who are over here on Facebook. Hello, Liz Garcia. Let's see, where else am I at? Twitter. Yes, Twitter. Drop the link in Twitter. My link tree on Twitter. And also drop the link off on YouTube. Once I can get there, though. Do I even have an active chat? Yeah, I do have an active chat, but there's nobody there. But I'll just drop it anyway, just in case. You know, you never know. And also on Twitch. Give me a minute, guys. Looks like I have a listener, but they're not in the chat, obviously, because they wouldn't be chatting by themselves. All right, so there you go. I dropped all the links. I dropped the links to all the platform streams there, the streamed platforms, streaming, yeah, whatever. And let's get back to this video that I want to share with you guys. This will be the closer for tonight. Once again, this is Paul Harvey, Freedom to Chains, back in 1965. So I will see you guys after this plays. I will probably interact with you guys in the chats as much as I can and read. But if I don't get to you, I'm very sorry. I apologize.
Now then, what makes a nation strong? Taxes? There's nothing new about those either. The first income tax was paid by Abraham. It was written on a rock by the hand of divinity and handed to Moses at the top of Mount Sinai. And you might want to remember this. It was at the flat rate of 10%. It promised the wrath of God on anybody who tampered with or violated that law. Christ was born in Bethlehem because Joseph was on his way to pay his taxes. Joseph was a relatively well-to-do landowner of the house and lineage of David. Yet the taxes exacted by Caesar Augustus were so exorbitant that he didn't have enough money left over to employ a trusted messenger for the mission, so though his wife was great with child, he made the journey himself. And Christ was born in Bethlehem because Joseph was on his way to pay his taxes. And Christ was born in a manger because there was a housing shortage when he got there. Our problems are not new. At Runnymede, the Magna Carta was handed to King John on the end of a sword, denying to royalty the right of unlimited taxation. Yet you know it was for us, the American people, to become the first in recorded history ever voluntarily to surrender our rights to private property. Oh, yes, we did. With an innocent-sounding constitutional amendment, the 16th, which says that Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, and we forgot to put any limit on the extent to which we could tax ourselves. Conceivably, we could be taxed out of all private property. We could be taxed not 70%, 80%, 90%, but 100%. We could awaken one morning and find that the government owns the farm and the house and the car and has a mortgage on the church, legally. Historically, whenever any nation has taxed its people more than 25% of their national income, initiative was destroyed and that nation was headed for economic eclipse. Well, presently, the American people are being taxed 33% of their total income. History says we'll roll forward on momentum for a little while, but we'd better get some more gas in the tank pretty quick. You see, ours is not the first by George good government to arise on the world stage. There have been several. Rome, and Spain, and Greece, and China, and each enjoyed about 150 years at its zenith. That's just about our time in the New World. And then each decayed away. Not one of them was ever destroyed by anybody else's marching legions. Each rotted away, morally, socially, culturally, economically, simultaneously. You know, one of the most cruel paradoxes of history is this. Because each was a good government, it bore bountiful fruit. And when it bore bountiful fruit, the people got fat. And when they got fat, they got lazy. And when they got lazy, they began to want to absolve themselves of personal responsibility and turn over to government to do for them things which traditionally they had been doing for themselves. At first, there appears to be nothing wrong in asking government to perform some extra service for you, but if you ask government for extra services, government, in order to perform its increasing function, has to get bigger, right? And as government gets bigger, in order to support its increasing size, it has to what? Tax the individual more, so the individual gets littler. And to collect the increased taxes requires more tax collectors, so the government gets bigger, and in order to pay the additional tax collectors, it has to tax the individual more, so the government gets bigger and the individual gets littler. And the government gets bigger and the individual gets littler until the government is all-powerful. The individual is hardly anything at all. The government is all-powerful. The people are cattle. Now, some believe that the need is for a vigorous, strong man to arise on the scene, to regulate and regiment the affairs of men. Yet history tells us there have been several such. Once upon a time, there was a nation great and powerful and good. She was suffering from the aftermath of war, from a depression. And then came upon the scene a leader, an idealist, self-confident, intolerant of criticism. Wisely, he limited his early activities to combating the financial depression. Nobody could argue with that. But in a while, he began to regulate business and establish new rules to govern commerce and finance. Some of them in diametrical disagreement with the God-made laws of supply and demand, but anybody who disagreed with those new rules was promptly fired. The new leader saw that under the old system of free enterprise, landlords prospered, so he levied new taxes to take away their profits and destroy what he called the monopoly of capital. To please laborers, he controlled prices. To win the favor of the farmers, he gave them loans and subsidies. The national debt mounted alarmingly. Whenever anybody tried to tell him that governments, even as people, can go broke when they spend beyond their incomes, he said they just didn't understand deficit finance. Well, what do you say? Did he build on rock or on sand? I say on sand. For you see, this was the story of Emperor Su Tongpo, who led China to its doom more than 1,000 years ago. I am satisfied with all my heart that if Uncle Sam ever does get whipped, here too, it will have been an inside job. It was internal decay. It was not external attack that destroyed the Roman Empire. Starting about 146 B.C., internal conditions in Rome were characterized by a welter of class wars and conflicts, street brawls, corrupt governors, lack of personal integrity and moral responsibility. About 290 years after Christ, a Roman emperor named Diocletian took over. He really grabbed the bull by the horns. He took over in a period of turmoil and severe depression. The first thing Diocletian did was call in the gold and close the banks and raise the taxes. He reduced the power of the Senate, delegated its power to a lot of little government bureaus. Do you know they even had a Transportation Act back there prescribing the fee required to rent one laden ass per mile? And at today's rate of exchange, it would have amounted to about 1/8 cent per mile, which meant that in order to make a profit, a jackass would have to carry 5 passengers. That was simply beyond the capacity of the jackass. Diocletian put millions of people on the public payroll, but when this failed to do the job, the country was still in trouble. He asked more personal powers for himself. For a brief while, incidentally, they were standby powers, but then he used them all at once. He froze wages, he froze prices, he froze jobs, he stopped profits, he dictated to the farmer what he should plant, when and how he should sell it, and for how much, and he rationed food. And what happened? The labor market closed down. Incentive was gone. Farm life became dependent on bureaucratic red tape. Exorbitant taxes cost the farmer his land. He kept for himself only a small plot on which he might grow turnips for his family. He lost the rest of it to the state. And without food and with incentive gone, city life stagnated and declined. And Rome passed into what history has recorded as the Dark Ages, lasting 1,000 years. Just by turning to the left, the world has gone in circles. A nation would evolve from a monarchy into an oligarchy, from oligarchy to dictatorship, from dictatorship to bureaucracy, from bureaucracy to pure democracy, where finally the people would cry out from the chaos and confusion of the streets, "Oh, please, God, give us a king," and God would give them a king, and they'd have a monarchy again and start the whole silly cycle anew. Now, either we will profit from the errors of their ways, or it follows as the night the day, our children are going to have to relive the Dark Ages all over again. How come, after thousands of years of experiment, our new nation has come so far so fast? All this in less than 200 years. What is the secret of our success? Well, I think it had to do with a basic American's creed. Perhaps it never passed the pioneer's lips in this form, but if it had, I think he would have said something like this: I believe in my God, in my country, and in myself. I know that sounds like a trite, too simple thing to say, and yet it's a rare man today who will dare to stand up and say, I believe in my God and my country and in myself, and in that order. When the early American pioneer first turned his eyes toward the West, there were only Indian trails, or traces as they were called, for him to follow through the wilderness. Do you know today you can roller skate from Miami to Seattle? From San Diego to Plymouth Rock? In this little bitty instant, as historical time is measured, our 7% of the Earth's population has come to possess more than half of all the world's good things. How come? Well, sir, when that early pioneer turned his eyes toward the West, he didn't demand that somebody else look after him. He didn't demand a free education. He didn't demand a guaranteed rocking chair at eventide. He didn't demand that somebody else take care of him if he got ill or got old. There was an old-fashioned philosophy in those days that a man was supposed to provide for his own and for his own future. He didn't demand a maximum amount of money for a minimum amount of work. Nor did he expect pay for no work at all. Come to think of it, he didn't demand anything. That hard-handed pioneer just looked out there at the rolling plains, stretching away to the tall green mountains, and then lifted his eyes to the blue skies and said, "Thank you, God. Now I can take it from here." Now, that spirit isn't dead in our country. It's dormant. It's been discredited in some circles, driven underground, but it isn't dead. It's just that a few seasons ago, politicians baiting their hooks with free barbecue and trading a Ponzi promise for votes began telling us we don't want opportunity anymore, we want security. We don't want opportunity, they said, we want security. They said it so often we came to believe them. We wanted security. And they gave us chains, and we were secure. Suddenly, with our constitutional guarantees depleted, with our national character eroding away, with our tax laws penalizing those who dare to prosper, with workers concentrating on how little they can get by with instead of how much they can produce, suddenly we looked overhead one day to discover that the first tin moon in space was a Russian accomplishment. That free men dragging their feet had been outdistanced by slave workers dragging their chains. And we were sore afraid. Perhaps this was a disguised blessing, too. Maybe a dramatic accomplishment by this Cold War adversary was necessary to get us off our dead centers and back to work again. If we can revive in ourselves, then in our youth, something of that basic American's creed, the horizon has never, ever been so limitless. For man stands now on the threshold of his highest adventure of all, his first faltering footsteps into space. 20 years from today, half of the products you will be using in your everyday living aren't even in the dictionary yet. We've got it made. If we just keep on keeping on, we've got it made. And if we don't, we will follow those other great nation-states of history into the graveyard of ignominious oblivion. History promises only this for certain. We will get exactly what we deserve.
Couldn't be said any better. Could not be said any better. And you know, that kind of relates to the random read that I had today, because let's face it, the reason why we're here at this present time of how things are is because we become complacent. We're guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. Anyways, let me bring myself back here to the chats. Somebody wanted me to, I think it was PCB Tracy that wanted me to share that link. I will share that link. There it is. All right. So we have a very tough road ahead of us. And although I want to be optimistic, I know in the end, we always say in the end God wins, but we got to prepare ourselves for the road to come, to go to the end. And my job is to convince you guys, not to force you guys, but to convince you guys to build that spiritual relationship up with God. Because, although we can vote for certain types of people to do things in there, those are not for sure things. And, I don't think God will ever let you down. He may let you down if you don't have that relationship, because if you don't have that relationship, that means you can't see. Like, you can't see the reasons why things are happening, as far as your individual life goes. Because there's purpose to that. Whether it be lessons, or whether it be for building tolerance up, or something to that effect, I don't know. But I do know that this road, or this journey, it's not going to be an easy one. It's not. And, if you guys were ever here for the watch parties, having, the apostles dealing with all this stuff that they were dealing with, it's not easy. You got to be willing to put yourself out there, like willing to, give the ultimate. And I think I know where I stand. So, I just want to tell you guys before I close the bar down, like I always do, be kind to one another, because there's not enough of that going around. And anytime an opportunity presents itself for you to pick somebody up, please do so, because you'll just never know when the time comes where you're going to need the picking up. So, with that being said,
the bar is now closed.
I can't help but wonder if I'm under a spell. It's more than a passing notion. I've never fallen with such devotion. I can't help but wonder if it's only a dream. Am I naive or can I believe that things are really as they seem? Can anyone explain it? How to understand what's true? I know I just can't tame it. Whenever I'm with you, I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. Can anyone explain it? How to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might